if any of us dropped the ball, we were, I'm trying to think of another word that's not
Doomed.
We were doomed.
We doomed. Welcome to Couch Surfing, the show where game-changing guests look back at their big roles, their little roles, and everything in between. I'm here with Andrea Riseborough. Andrea, let's see what's on. You ready to surf?
Yes, I'm ready to surf.
Oh, let's do it.
I'm sorry, my love, but we must part for good.
I remember auditioning for this, and I had to say a line and then burst into tears and then leave, and that was my audition.
Really?
And he said, great, and then and that was it.
Did it feel good to you? Did you feel like I may have a shot at this?
I mean, bursting into tears never feels great.
Right.
And then they gave me the part, and I came in, and my first scene, it was with Peter O'Toole and
Mr. Lawrence of Arabia.
He was very saucy.
He was really.
Yeah, he was
Do
very
tell.
saucy. He just like has a twinkle in his eye, and that was my friend Jodie Whittaker, who we were at different drama schools at the same time, and she used to always come around the house and have sausage sandwiches. And now she plays Doctor Who.
From sausage sandwiches to Doctor
Doctor
Who. Fantastic. Okay, let's keep moving. Up next.
How do you find living in England, Mrs. Simpson?
I love it.
So you play Wallis Simpson,
Yes,
the woman that King Edward abdicated his throne for.
the woman that never ate. She made thin fashionable.
The leaner,
much
the
to the
better.
detriment of all of those of us that have gone after her.
So she was the original Twiggy.
She left us all starving. She was raised as a Southern belle and had a debutante ball and all of that, you know, and went through a marriage or two that didn't work, and then, you know, famously met the then prince, who was supposed to be the king, and then abdicated for her. Mm-hmm. And then they were really the first couple who were hounded by paparazzi. They were the Kim Ye of the 30s.
Speaking of paparazzi, I would imagine when Madonna is directing a film, there are a few photogs around, am I correct?
I mean, yeah, there was this one scene that we were shooting in the south of France. Madonna's behind, because she's watching it on the monitor and following and checking everything's okay. And then behind Madonna are like 200 people who live there in Nice.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, so, and we did it like, I don't know, 8 times or something, and every time it was like action. Madonna would come after, and then 200 people would follow Madonna.
All right, up next.
Just stay away from me.
So when you began your career, did you see yourself in big scale spectacles like this?
No, I mean, one of the first theatre directors I worked with was Peter Hall, and I remember when I auditioned for him and then got that part, I remember thinking that it was sort of a joke. You know, it was like, you what now?
You've said in interviews that making this film also felt a bit isolating for you. What did you mean by that?
We don't shoot a lot of films in Hollywood anymore because of the tax breaks. It's so much easier to go somewhere else. But there's often a relocation process, and so for sort of like, you know, between 6 and 9 months, depending on how long the film is, or if it's short, even sometimes it's 6 weeks, you are kind of alone there.
Yeah.
My job is to be a different person all the time. And if you don't meet people, or if you only meet a certain type of people, and I felt like at this time in my life, I was just meeting, you know, I was very busy, and that was wonderful, and there was success, but I don't know, I felt really disconnected from what I started doing this for. And I think that was just really about not having a connection with people.
You want to move on to this next project? It's less isolating, I promise. Up next.
I keep waiting for someone to tell me I've made it. Hey, you made it.
What were your initial impressions of this script?
It was a really wonderful read. It was a great script. And then just knowing Alejandro's work and thinking about what vision he had for it was, tantalizing in every way. He said something, it was like a really funny sell of a character. He said something like, I need you because otherwise Laura, my character was, Laura may not work.
No pressure.
But not even no pressure, but just like, that's not a selling speech. You know, if you like go and buy a car,
Right.
you're like, I mean,
maybe
it probably
the
needs a
engine-
good driver.
And yet you signed on.
Oh my God, and I would have. I mean, if he'd asked me to just stand on my head for 5 minutes in a cameo role, I would have, you know. I mean, it was
Sign me
such
up.
a privilege, yeah. Alejandro had printed me out a picture of Man on Wire, you know,
Yes.
of the tightrope. And on top of it, it said something like, "This is going to be hard."
Welcome back to Couch Surfing. I'm still here with Andrea Riseborough. Andrea, shall we continue?
Yes, let's.
All right.
The music will help jog your memory too.
So Black Mirror is tonally consistent, but each episode is entirely and wildly different. Were you pitched this specific episode? Or
I was offered Kieran's part,
oh, is that right?
the other actress in this clip.
And your character was initially a male character.
Yeah, we're so preconditioned to react to characters because of the way that cinema language has been for so long, I think. So it was definitely a conversation, you know, but the creator, Charlie, he was, they were, you know, him and Annabelle were fully on, they create Black Mirror, they were fully on board, and we made it. And I think it really gained something from being a story between two women. And it's probably deeply worrying that I identified with my character rather than the other character.
Well, that's
but you know,
another
what can you do?
Up next.
My father's lying there with his head open.
Yes, your father's dead. Your brother is shooting a gun. It's not fine. You're right.
What about this character appealed to you?
Armando Iannucci, like Alejandro Inarritu. I mean, there's no, you know, I would have done anything with Armando.
And he's known for his biting satire, Mr. Beep.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's him and his team of writers are just brilliant. And this was one of the most enjoyable experiences because it was actors from so many different walks of art, I suppose.
Right.
You know, some were pure comedians,
Right.
some were Shakespearean actors, you know. But we laughed so much, which is, you know, given it's called Death of Stalin,
Right.
you're not given to thinking that that might be the case, but
Yeah,
it was one of the most glorious.
You're not LOLing all over the place.
No, but
you don't
but
walk
to sort
into
of,
it thinking
to
that's what's gonna
improvise with
happen.
political satire, to improvise in that realm. Yes, you know, sometimes you have a moment where you freak out and think, "Crikey, do I have exactly all my facts right?" You know, but for the most part, it was just such a joy to play.
All right, up next.
There used to be a treehouse out back.
And this is one of the first projects that you produced.
We had 90% female crew.
Oh, wait, okay, I was going to ask you about those numbers.
We were about
because-
60% women of colour in that.
And 90% female crew.
Yeah.
Wow. And we hear so much about how difficult it is to find women and people of color. You didn't seem to have a problem with that.
Yeah, we didn't. It's really weird that.
So
It's
it can
really
be done.
weird that. And there's this amazing thing now. It's called the internet.
Right.
We're responsible for discovering Google.
But all jokes aside, how satisfying must that have been?
Really satisfying,
Right,
because
to
I
know
think,
that you have proof of concept.
and that's really why I started my company, Mother Sucker, is
That's the best name, by the way.
to take, because I sucked from my mother, to take a project from its inception to its distribution and imagining what it would be like or how the film would be affected if it wasn't a young girl playing out a scene that might be frightening, for example, you know, which is what you do as an actor,
Right.
and surrounded by 90 men holding equipment.
And I'm so glad you discovered Google. Thank you.
Oh my God, you're so welcome.
Up next.
My brother Chris will personally escort the load from start to finish.
So you play a cocaine broker who is knee deep in the
Yeah.
international drug trade.
Yeah.
You had me at hello.
Thanks. So this series is based on a book by Roberto Saviano, which is called ZeroZeroZero.
Right.
It's called ZeroZeroZero because 000, if you want to make good pasta, you use this flour called ZeroZeroZero. It's like the fine the fine flour, the good stuff. And the series, they've developed a series which then surrounds characters that aren't there. It's a separate story from the book. The book sets the world, and the series is about putting characters into that world. So you follow a shipment of cocaine. You go backwards from New Orleans to where it came from.
Right.
But with almost every location, we are actually shooting in the real location. We started off in New Orleans. We were there for 3 months. And then we finished up in Senegal, which was incredible.
It's a limited series, correct?
It's a limited series, although I'm never really sure what that means.
I'm not sure either. If you get audiences hooked and they want more, then what happens?
Then you have to do, like, the second season has to be like smack, 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 about heroin.
Andrea, thank you so much for surfing by. That was fantastic. You were awesome.
Thank you.
ZeroZeroZero is streaming now on Amazon Prime Video. See you next week on Couch Surfing. Bye.